Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part 3 of this mini-series that I have been doing on my channel where I'm showing you how I create my sculpted gel nails. So the first video was all about my dry prep method. The second video was actually building these bad boys with some hard gel and paper forms, and now we are getting into the filing because they need it. I've got some dusty sticking around. I definitely need to give these a shape-in and a file-in, so stick around if you want to see that. So, as always, when I'm filing, I'm going to be wearing a mask, so if my voice is a bit muffled, I do apologize for that, but safety first. We don't want to be inhaling any of the dust that comes from filing. That is not good. So, I like using both a hand file and my e-file when I do my filing when it comes to shaping up the nails. I mentioned in the video where I built these nails out, you can see they are quite long, and I'm not actually going to be keeping them this long. I am going to file them down, but I can be a little bit overzealous when I file, and I find that if I only use an e-file, I can get a little out of control. If you have more control with your e-files, then definitely, do what works best for you. If you prefer a hand file or an e-file, obviously do what works for you. So I always start with a hand file. This is a 180/180 grit, and I am using the one from Nail Order. And I like starting with the overall shape of my nails. I like the coffin shape. That's typically what I wear in my nails. So I'm going to start by filing that up. So I start with my sides. And I try to get the most accurate shape to the nail that I want. So I file over the top to make sure that there isn't too much bulk on the top. I file from under in case any of the gel kind of got over the sides when I was forming. And then I take down the length. Now, I don't initially go the actual length that I want. I always leave a bit of space until all the way at the end when I do my finish filing. I don't want to go too crazy with my filing because it's a lot easier to take away and much harder to add once you're at this stage. I mean, it's doable, but it's definitely not something we want to have to do. So I kind of get the general shape. Don't know why everything is sticking. It's probably just sticking to the rigid, ragged edges of the nail. Anyway, I don't go too hard on my initial filing and shaping. It's just to get an idea of what's going on and to make my nails a little bit more manageable and to kind of get the vision that I want. Because when they look like this, it's a little bit hard to see what I want them to look like. So I take down the sides, go from under the nail as well, and now take down the length. And sometimes if the nail is super, super long, I won't take it fully down with with my hand file. I'll do that with the e-file. So it all depends on how long my nails are and how long I want them to be. Which is why I kind of do a mixture of both filing. Some things are better for the hand, like getting the shape. Because if I try to get the shape done with my e-file, I'll go way too crazy. So I like getting the shape done with my hand file. And then I go in and do the larger removal work with my e-file. Now, like I mentioned in the video where I was building out these nails, the better you build the nails initially, the less filing you'll have to do. So if you are a super, super cool and super good at doing your structured, sculpted nails, you'll have less filing to do. Or if you're like me and know that you go a little bit crazy with your filing, you might want to add a little bit more gel than you actually need to make sure that you have room to file it down. So it's all about personal preference and kind of playing to your strengths. So whichever is easiest for you is definitely the direction you should go. And I like holding my file at a bit of an angle because I'm trying to get the coffin look, so I want the sides to be tapered. Again, this is just kind of a rough draft of the shape. I'm going to go in and perfect it more. Just want a kind of general idea. They're already looking so much better. And I also make sure to hold my nail over here when I'm filing the longer nails, because I know when I'm building out my nail that most of the length is going to be coming off, or at least a lot of it. My nail at the ends are pretty thin because I'm taking that off anyway. I don't need to make a full, thicker structured nail that needs to survive, because that's just going to be a lot more filing and a lot more wasted product. So because the nail is quite fragile towards the tip of the nail, because I specifically made it thinner so that I can easily file it off, I do like holding my nail here with my thumb so that I don't snap my nail in half. So now I've kind of got my overall shape, but I do still want to take down a bit more length. I'm going to do that with my e-file, as well as going over the top and just making sure that everything is smooth. So I have just a sanding band on, and I'm going to put my e-file onto like a level 5,000 RPM, rotations per minute. So it's kind of like, you know, not too fast, still manageable, but enough to help with the structure. So I like going around the cuticle, and then coming down the nail to just smooth out where there might be any imperfections. And again, the better you build your nail initially, the less filing you'll have to do. So like coming around the sides, going down, and then kind of like making sure that everything from the cuticle to the tip of the nail is even and smooth. So making sure to look at it from all sides. So I'm turning my nail, also turning my head so I can see what's going on everywhere. And I still want a bit of the length to come off, so I'm going to just do that right now with the e-file. Actually, going to turn the speed up a bit. And bringing it back down to level 5. And again, making sure to just hit it from all the sides. And bringing up the speed to just take down a bit of the length. I like comparing. And once again, I am not bringing down the nail as low as short as I want my actual nail to be, because I'm going to go in again with my hand filing and then with my finished file with a smoother file. So I always leave the tiniest amount of like room for error, because I can go a little bit crazy. And again, that's just going to be something that you have to determine for yourself, and that comes with practice. But until like all the way till the end when I'm really, really finished with my whole shebang, do I actually bring the nail down to its final form. That looks good for now. Now I'm ready to move on back to my hand file to, again, help perfect the shape, because as we took down the nail, it started losing its coffin shape. So I start with going through the sides, then taking up the bottom. And finally, keeping my hand like this so I can make sure that's straight. Taking a bit off the top if I need to. It's a little bit too bulky in certain areas. Again, constantly turning my hand back around to make sure it's straight. especially for me because I'm right-handed. I find a lot of my nails tend to lean to the right naturally. I guess I'm just heavier, so like heavier-handed. So I'm constantly turning my hand to make sure that's actually straight, because sometimes it can look straight like this, and then as soon as you turn your hands around, it's actually a bit crook. So, and once I get to this point, it's kind of like really small filings. I don't want to do anything too quickly. I don't want to make any too many major changes, because it'll be harder and harder to fix it as the nail gets shorter and shorter. That is looking pretty good. Always make sure to file the underside. It can tend to get a bit thick if you've made a longer nail and are shortening it. And sometimes that can be like the difference between a nice, neat nail and something that looks bulky. You can always take off from the top, but sometimes the bottom, the underside kind of gets forgotten, and that's a huge area where it can help with the look and structure of the nail as well. Again, turning to make sure. That one's looking pretty good too. I think this nail's a bit long. Take it down a bit. Okay, now I'm going to use my little brush scrubber over here and kind of remove all that dust so I can see what's going on. I feel like this nail is being a little bit weird. A weird shape to it. There, that's much better. Okay, good. Alright, so now I want to just do some cuticle cleanup around the area, just create some cuticle separation between the product and any areas where it might be a little bit bulky. So I am taking out my sanding band and I am switching it out for this smaller bit. I actually used this when I was prepping my nails, so if you saw that video, this bit will look familiar to you. And I am bringing my e-file down to 3,000 RPMs, so nice and gentle. And I'm just going to clean up the area a bit in case there's any gel that's kind of like out of place. Don't have to do any major filing, it's just one final, detail. You don't have to do this, but especially if you're going to be putting like gel on top of this or even polish or anything on top, having like a nice cuticle area just helps everything sit nice, just cleans everything up. Also makes it look prettier when it's growing out if the gel is nice and smooth. And causes less snags and areas for lifting as well, so it's not necessary, but I definitely recommend it. I didn't always used to do this. I used to think it was unnecessary, but ever since doing it, I can't imagine not anymore. It really creates such a beautiful cuticle area when the nail starts growing out. And definitely have less lifting and like less, snags and stuff as it grows out as well. Because everything always looks great, presumably when it's first starting. It's all about how it grows out and what happens when the nail is growing out. If there's any lifting, any snagging, any breakage, that we only get to see, after a couple of weeks. That's when you really know what you need to work on, or where you did well, or what needs to be improved on, etc. So this is something that over time I realize makes a big difference to the overall outcome of my nails. And now that that's done, just want to clean up around the cuticle a bit more. This pinky over here is a bit bulky, I noticed, and that bit was just too gentle to like really take down too much product. So just cleaning that up. And now to finish off, I want to go in with a bit around the cuticle area and kind of remove any of like the lifted skin and kind of like any dried skin or hangnails or anything. So I'm using this diamond bit over here. It's super, super gentle. It's really soft. I like using it on my skin. If I have any hangnails, I usually use this instead of like cutting it with like nail clippers or something, because this is just so much more gentle and less prone to hurting myself, because those hangnails can be quite painful. So I just like using this to clean up the cuticle area one final time and to help remove like any of this little skin we have here. I'm actually going to bring it down to 1,000 RPMs, so the lowest speed. It's really gentle. I have a bit of dry skin over here. I'm just going to use that bit to help clean up. Here as well. Okay, so now that I have finished with the dry prep, with the sculpting, and with the filing, I am going to give my hands some TLC. My hands have been really, really dry recently. You can't see on this palm, but my palm is like covered in dry, flaky skin. I've been so dry recently. So I am going to give my hands a little bit of some TLC, give it a little bit of like a little hand scrub situation, and then finish off with some cuticle oil. And here they are, after getting a little bit of a scrub and some cuticle oil. Here are my sculpted gel nails. Don't mind my hands that are all wrinkly from being in the glove for so long. And now I am going to go ahead and paint these up, do some fun nail art, so stick around for that video if you are interested, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!